Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Yuno Learning. In our series on how to develop your lexical resources in a much more effective manner, we bring to you yet another webinar on idioms. So today we'll be covering idioms that are centered around the idea of food or have any food item in them. So before beginning, let's test what you know about these idioms. Can you guess the meaning of the idioms given underlined in this particular sentences? So let's see. Number one, her colleagues couldn't approach her because her attitude was as sour as vinegar. What do you think as sour as vinegar means? Is it a naive person, B, a disagreeable person, or C, a very pleasant person? All right.
Ma'am, maybe A.
I'm getting some answers in the comment section also.
It's B, I think.
Anyone who would like to guess, even if it's wrong, even if you think it's not entirely correct, just go ahead and give it a try, and then we can discuss. All right. Okay, so let's proceed with the answer. First of all, when you say as, I don't think when you find something sour, it's a very pleasant experience for you, right? So if you think that something is sour as vinegar, that's acidic, right? You don't really like the taste of vinegar. So that just shows that when we say someone is as sour as vinegar, that means a very disagreeable person. So the correct answer is option B. So sometimes if you just go to the literal meaning of these idioms, you can find the metaphorical meanings as well. Then number two, her book sold like hotcakes as soon as it was launched. What do you mean by sold like hotcakes? Is it A, sold at high prices, B, sold quickly and in large amounts, or C, sold gradually over time? Also, when you're typing out your answers, it would be great if you also number the questions so I can identify which one are your answers. Great. All right, so let's answer this for you. So sold like hotcakes. So whenever, the literal meaning would be something that goes on very quickly. So hotcakes are very well-liked dessert. So that means the correct answer for this would be sold quickly and in large amounts. So that is what hotcakes. It couldn't be sold at high prices because when you think of hotcakes, you don't think very high prices, okay? And it can't be gradually over time. So the answer is option B. Let's move on to the third question. He asked not to be presented with sugar-coated facts, but rather with the bitter truth. What do you mean by sugar-coated? A, to artificially make pleasant or acceptable. B, something interesting. C, silly or unwitty. All right, anyone else who would like to answer? Go ahead, I'm waiting for you in the chat box. Perfect. So I think everybody has grasped the idea to go for the literal meanings.
Third A.
Sorry, third? Okay, A. Perfect. Yes. So see, sugar-coated means something that is pleasant. Sugar tastes nice, good, right? So that would be something to artificially make pleasant or acceptable. So whenever you sugarcoat some facts, so that means, there are some hard facts, some bitter facts, and you sugarcoat them, that means you make them pleasant or you make them sound good. So, sugar-coated is to artificially make something pleasant or acceptable. Let's move on. The quiz was as easy as pie for him since he had already studied it last year. So what do you mean by as easy as pie? A, extremely hard to solve. B, something very basic or easy, or C, something very complex.
Definitely B.
Right. So this was quite easy as pie, right? Because we know that this means something very basic or easy. That is option B. I hope there are no doubts in this particular slide and everybody is clear on every meaning. If yes, you could ask or type it in the chat box. Otherwise, I'll move forward. Okay, I'll assume that there are no doubts. Let's move forward. Right. So next we have, he bought the vintage trench coat for peanuts at so what do you mean by for peanuts? Is it A, inexpensive, B, extravagantly high price, or C, moderate price? All right, I am looking at some mixed answers. So let's answer this for you. So whenever you say something for peanuts, that means something for a very actually inexpensive, something very insignificant. So the correct answer for this is A, inexpensive. It can't be extravagantly high or a moderate price. It is something that's for a very low or cheap price. Then, number 2, losing to his arch enemy in a match was a bitter pill for him to swallow. I think we have heard this multiple times. So what do you mean by bitter pill for him to swallow? A, competitive struggle for power. B, something impossible. Or C, very hard or unpleasant to accept.
Maybe C. Very hard or unpleasant to accept.
Okay, all right. Everyone else? All right. Yes, I'm seeing a lot of C's in the answers. Yes, once again, you're correct. So whenever we say bitter pill to swallow, that means something that you can't really accept, or it is, hard or unpleasant for you to accept. So the correct option, this is very hard or unpleasant to accept. So if you look closely at the idioms, it is always easy to identify the meaning, right? You just go to the literal meaning and then you can find the meaning. Next, the policeman had to eat dirt for the discriminatory slur he used against the victims. A, admit defeat. B, to redact a hurtful or unacceptable statement. Or C, learning peacefully.
Admit defeat.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, please keep typing in the chat box. I will respond to those as well. All right, so this is a tricky one. If I just ask you, what does eat dirt means? Both A and B will be correct. Both of them are the meaning of eating dirt. Whenever somebody admits defeat, that is also eating dirt. But here, since the sentence has a particular context, the correct meaning is option B.
B, yeah. According to the sentence, it will go with B.
Right. So what does that tell us? That whenever we are given an idiom or let's say any word in English, even though it has a meaning, sometimes due to the context, it can have multiple meanings and it can change its form. So always be very wary of the context that you're using them in, okay? So the correct answer here is to redact a hurtful or unacceptable statement. Number 4, last, not the least, the scrumptious dessert melted in our mouths as soon as we took a bite. What do you mean by melted in our mouths? A, delicious or tasty food. B, something fluid. C, something that leaves a creamy scent. All right. Okay.
A, delicious or tasty food.
A and C in the answers. Somebody also wrote B. All right. So let's get to the correct answer for this. So the correct answer for this is option A, delicious. So this is one. This does not exactly mean what it literally means. Like melted means, of course, something that is fluid or something that is creamy. But when we say melted in our mouths, we are referring to something delicious or tasty. All right, great. So any doubts in this particular slide? Anything you want to ask?
No, ma'am.
Perfect.
No, ma'am.
Great. Let's move ahead then. All right. So the first idiom that we're going to cover today is bread and butter. Any idea what bread and butter means? Anyone in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself. Anywhere you must.
Ma'am, bread and butter.
Yes.
Ma'am, that means like a basic form of living, like that makes you earn.
Great. I have a wonderful, candidate list today. A lot of you know the meaning already. So let's look at very carefully. So what does bread and butter means? Refers to a person's primary source of income, right? So that's what you said, the basic source of your living, or something essential or fundamental to a particular activity or situation. Now, yes, it does mean such something, primary source of your income, but it can also mean something that is essential part of your, let's say business, or that is, again, so it can be a multiple source, right? Then when do you use it? It is a useful phrase to use when you want to emphasize the importance of a primary source of income or key aspect of a situation. Usage. Although a company makes paper and ink, printers are bread and butter of the business. So that means we're emphasizing that here, even though you make paper and ink, what is the most essential part of your business? Bread and butter. All right, let's move forward then. Next is not my cup of tea. Any quick guesses? Not my cup of tea. What could that mean?
Ma'am, something which is not of my part, like my.
Okay. Not something I like. All right. There are very
Not something I can do.
Like
Exactly.
not of my consideration.
exactly.
Something which is not in our
So
ability.
very close to the point,
Not
but then again, we are
affordable.
getting into. Okay. So let's
Not
see
our
what.
type.
Yes, not cup of my tea means something that one doesn't enjoy or is not passionate about. So if you don't like something, or maybe you're not expert at something, or you're not passionate about it, that is that is not your cup of tea. Usage. I wish I could paint as well as you do. I'm good at drawing, but okay, so there's one miswording here. I'm good at drawing, but painting isn't my cup of tea. All right, let's move forward. Apple of one's eye. I think you must have heard this one. Quick guesses. Apple of one's eye.
It's one who is extremely dear to us.
Yes, great. So apple of one's eye is used to describe someone or something that is greatly cherished, loved, or valued by an individual. Then usage. He didn't accomplish anything on his own, nor did he recognize the hard work of others or put in much effort himself. Despite this, he somehow managed to become the apple of his father's eye. That means his father loved him dearly. Next. Cool as a cucumber. Quick guesses.
Very, light, very light in mood.
Comfortable.
Yes.
Cool as
Right. Those are
Chill
all
kind of person.
kind of person. Yes. Calm. Yes. That is
yeah,
one.
calm.
Perfect. Let's look at the meaning then. A person who is very calm and relaxed. So yes, that is a cool as a cucumber person. Usage. They continually show disrespect for her work, but she remained cool as a cucumber until she realized that she needed to stand up for herself and her work. All right. Next. Okay, so quick overview. How will you benefit from the classes at Yuno Learning? All classes are live classes, interactive methodology, just like this one. There's a lot of study material for you. Apart from this, vocabulary, grammar, sample answers, and practice tests. And the instructor who teaches you in a group class also corrects your assignments, clears your doubts, gives you one-to-one speaking practice. The diagnostic test helps you to understand your level of English. The mock test analysis prepares you for the actual exam as you understand the kind of mistakes you should avoid. And you have the option to choose a comprehensive course or enroll just for writing and speaking. And if you are practicing on your own, you can only enroll for the tests. So this is all what else you can get at Yuno Learning, but let's continue back to our webinar. Okay, next is one smart cookie. Yes, quick guesses.
One who is very
Uh,
intelligent in the group.
Someone intelligent.
Intelligent, yes. What else? How else could you describe a person?
Curious person.
Diligent.
Genius.
And for those who are not comfortable with unmuting themselves, please go ahead and type in the chat box. I'll still be responding to that as well. Okay. All right. So let's look at the meaning for one smart cookie. Meaning a very intelligent individual. Yes, as you all correctly mentioned. So how do we use this? She excels in all 5 disciplines and has a thorough comprehension of each one. She is one smart cookie. Okay, before I move on, if there's any word that I've used in the usage or in the meaning that you don't know the meaning for or you want to ask, please don't hesitate. Just go ahead and ask me. All right, next, let's move on. In a nutshell, quick guesses?
It's the final stage. The decision is to be going on. In a nutshell, preparation or initial program.
Okay.
Conclusion.
Ma'am, like
Somebody in the chat box wrote overall. Okay.
in a brief way.
All right. Okay. So let's do that. In a nutshell means in the fewest words possible. That means an overall summary. So whenever for example, that you've written an essay, right? Or a report on something. So when you're trying to summarize it, you're going to give it in 2 to 3 lines. That is in a nutshell. So in a nutshell, the overall situation was this. Now, when do you use it? Of course, when you're trying to summarize something, it can be used. Usage, my outfit was covered with coffee that my parents I got.
Office ho gaya.
Just a minute. Let me Okay, right. My foot was covered with coffee. After that, my parents and I got into a fight and they informed me that my grades are getting worse every year. In a nutshell, I am having a terrible day. So you are, explaining all the details of the day, this happened. And then at the last, you just want to say, in a nutshell, I want to summarize that I had a terrible day. So that is how you use in a nutshell. All right. Next, butter someone up.
Like I can, like in Hindi, खुशामदी करना.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
Friendly and kind. To be friendly or kind.
Praise someone for a benefit.
To be nice to someone to get some work done from them.
Exactly. Very nice. Anyone else? Exactly. So yes, it is to praise someone, but let's look at the meaning closely. Meaning means to flatter. Flatter means, of course, praising someone or to make them feel good about themselves. Flatter, praise, or compliment someone to gain their favor, maybe to gain their favor or approval. Or also when you're trying to get something done from them. So that's when you can say that this person is buttering them up. Now, when do you use it? It can also refer to using charm or persuasion to manipulate someone into doing something. Okay. So use it. She put a lot of effort into getting the job, but everyone keeps getting opportunities because they keep their boss buttered up. All right. So they are getting opportunities because they kind of flatter or praise their boss in order to get the promotions while she is not getting those. Okay. Any doubts up till now? Any questions? Even if you are not comfortable unmuting yourself, you can directly text me or text me, even if you don't want to text everyone, just directly text me. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Cheesy. What do we mean by cheesy? Anyone?
She's a cheesy person means superficial.
Okay. That could be one way of saying it. What else?
Uncool person.
Not exactly, but I'll take it. All right.
Always try to convince
Anyone
other
else? Okay. So let's look at the meaning of the cheesy exactly. Meaning something that is overly sentimental, corny, or lacking in good taste or quality. So cheesy, especially when overuse some things. This is just too cheesy. This is like too much. Overly dramatic, cheesy plot lines, for example. When you're trying to flatter someone up, that can be also very cheesy. You're becoming very cheesy. You're giving me so many praises. That is overly sentimental. So that's when we use the word cheesy. Now, when do you use it? It can refer to anything that is too cliche or trite. So cliche means something that is overused. For example, in romance movies, there's always this same plot of a damsel in distress and then, the hero saving her. So that is a cliche plot, how they use the same romantic lines. And then trite is something very trivial, such as a song with overly sentimental lyrics or movie with a predictable plot. So these refer to cheesy things. Use it. I cringed when I saw the waiter was wearing a cheesy Hawaiian shirt to match the restaurant's decor. Here, that means the waiter was who just thought that it was very cringy and cheesy. All right. Any doubts in this particular one? Anyone?
Ma'am, the word cringed means oh God, I can't bear to see it. Does that mean cringe?
Yeah, cringe is like something that just like a little bit uncomfortable to you. It's not like, oh my God, I can't see it. It's just like that's cringy, like, oh, that's too much. That's when you cringe, right?
Yes, ma'am, got it.
Perfect, great. Any other word in this slide? Anything that you want me to ask? I will be happy to explain. I'm guessing nothing. So let's.
Ma'am, this word corny, I'm not able to understand.
Where is it? Exactly. Corny is the same thing as cheesy. Something corny is something very geeky. That's very corny, like very out of the box and like so when you say out of the box, it could be a good thing also and it could be a bad thing, right? We're just standing out completely. So that is a corny taste. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. Anyone else? Any questions? Till anything that we have done up till now? Any questions? I'll be happy to answer before I move forward. Okay. Assuming no questions, I will move forward then. Cry over spilled milk. Anyone who would like to guess this?
To mourn over a thing which is impossible to recover.
Right. And anyone else who would like to add or say anything else about it? No? Let's move forward then. To cry over spilled milk means to shed tears over a situation that cannot be changed. Yes, cry over something that has already happened now. Now, when do you use it? It is employed in negation to encourage someone not to harbor regrets for events that have already occurred and cannot be changed. So, if you've done something very terrible or something has happened that you can't change at all, that's when I can say that you need to stop whining about it because there's no point for crying over spilled milk. Usage, the debating club's general secretary could have put in more effort. He barely ever worked. This explains why the event was a huge failure. What's the sense crying over spilled milk? Now, all right, let's move forward. Carrot top. Any guesses for carrot top? This is an interesting one.
I think a red person having
Sorry?
red ears. A
Red?
person having red hair. Red ears.
Right. Great. That is great that you know this one because a lot of people don't know what a carrot top means. But yes, you're correct. A person with orange or red hair might be described as a carrot top. So usage, although I have seen blondes and brunettes before, Jack is the only person I've ever seen with a carrot top. All right. So that is great. Let's move forward. All right. So here's a quick exercise. Now, I do not want anyone to unmute themselves and answer this because we want that everyone can take their time, answer these questions. So go ahead, read them. I'll read them out for you. So give me the answers in organized manner in the chat box. Just, send the answers to me, not to everyone, so that everyone can, work their way out and then we can know what you learned today. So number one, he will become a doctor one day. He's a dash and everyone knows that. What do you think the answer for this one could be? Go ahead, type it in the chat box and then please, like if you speak, then, everybody else won't have a chance. So go ahead, please type it in the chat box. That'd be great for me.
Definitely, ma'am, no problem.
Using only the idiom words, ma'am.
Idioms, the ones we have done today. All right, so I have already some answers that people have sent me. Go ahead, I'm waiting for the rest of you. Do not send it to everyone, just directly text me. Directly, you can just find a drop-down arrow, select Yuno Learning and directly send it to me. All right, so yes, the answer is one smart cookie. Just we'll use it completely, right? So here, he will become a doctor one day. He's a smart cookie and everyone knows that. Perfect. Number two, blank. If I have to summarize it, I had a great summer vacation. What do you think we could put in here? Which idiom fits that we've learned today fits this blank? Yes, great. Everyone else, let's keep answering also. Let's try to shell in as much as possible. This will help you memorize these and use them in your daily life as well. Great. So the answer for this is, in a nutshell, if I have to summarize, I had a great summer vacation. So of course, when you're trying to summarize something, you can use the idiom in a nutshell. Number three, his mother dashed with praise so that he would bring groceries without throwing any tantrums. What do you think the answer could be for the third one? All right. I am seeing some answers, but most of them are not correctly worded the idiom. Like the answer is correct, but read the sentence and see that how will you correctly word it. All right, so I'll also try All right. So the answer for this one is his mother buttered him up. So that is the correct answer. So he wouldn't throw without throwing any tantrums. Anyone who can tell me what do you mean by tantrums? You can unmute yourself if you want. For now.
Drama.
Right. So what do you mean by tantrums?
Throwing unnecessary dramas.
Right. So whenever a child is trying to be, you know, little stubborn about something, that's when we can say that the child is throwing a tantrum. Great. Number 4, I like musical concerts, but opera is not dash. What do you think the answer could be? You can type it in the chat box quickly. Not seeing anything.
Ma'am, I didn't hear. I mean, what's the second one's answer?
Second one is in a nutshell. I'll put it here only. Since you're trying to summarize something, right? And the first one was smart cooking. Yes. So the number 4th is I like musical concerts, but opera is not my cup of tea. That means it does not interest you. Perfect. Number 5, she does whatever she wants to do, and this traits of her makes her. What do you think? Which of the idiom we learned today could fit this one? Okay, I have some answers. All right. What else? Anyone else who would like to take a guess? Okay. So I'm not sure. Is that somebody answered sour as a vinegar? Now that could also be one answer, because if somebody just doesn't listen to you and do whatever they want, they could be unpleasant to you. But you can also think of them cool as cucumbers. So really depends on the context that what kind of person. If you like that trait, that means they're cool as a cucumber. If you don't, then they are sour as vinegar. All right.
First one.
The first one is smart cookie. I'll just move on to the second slide, and you can check out the answers once. Okay. All right. So here are the answers. Number 1 was he's a smart cookie. Number 2, in a nutshell, because we were trying to summarize something. Number 3, his mother wanted him to do something, you know, get some action out of him. So that means the mother buttered him up. Then in number 4, we were talking about how they like musical concerts, but they are not passionate about opera. So that means not their cup of tea. And number 5, she does whatever she wants. So it could be Sarah's
Here,
vinegar or also
not my
cucumber.
cup
Both
of tea. So the 4th one is
yes, not my cup of tea. Just underline not as well. It is the part of the idiom as well. Okay. Any questions? Anything you want to ask in this?
if the tea is related to for musical concerns, it is what is the idioms is going on there?
I'm sorry.
Not my cup of tea. Is if any alternate words using for this phrases? The 4th one is.
Right. So you want to use any other idiom here? Is that what
Yes.
you're? Well, there could be multiple idioms that you can use here. If I like musical concerts, but opera is not my type, or just, you know, is not the thing that I'm concerned about. Like, of course, there are multiple ways, but like the current idiom that we're discussing is not my cup of tea, that you're not passionate about it.
Okay. Here
I
my
can't think.
cup of is using for this content is okay, ma'am. Because of this idiom, 10 idioms, we related that filling the
Yes.
blanks.
See, the entire answer was not my. The not is not underlined here, but the complete answer is not my cup of tea.
Okay. So
Okay.
the bread and butter is the 3rd one, and then buttered him up with rice is related to concept.
Okay, the bread and butter is your main source of income. That is
For
complete.
groceries means using for this buttered.
Okay, all right. So I'll just clear this up quickly. Bread and butter is just for your main source of income, that is a completely different idiom. And when I say buttering someone up, that means you're praising someone up just to get, work out of them or get some sort of favor out of them. All right.
Okay.
Great. Okay. Let's move on. So quickly, pretty much all the idioms that we have done today. So quickly summarize and, refresh all the idioms for you. Let's try to match these. So number one smart cookie. Type in your answer in the chat box. Which one of these options do you think is the correct meaning for one smart cookie? Right. All right. Number two, bitter pill to swallow. Okay, now that I see it, so if you can see that the answers are correctly organized in front of it. So we can maybe just quickly revise this one. One smart cookie means a person who's very intelligent and capable. A bitter pill to swallow is something that is difficult to accept or come terms with. Butter someone up means flattering or complimenting someone in order to gain an approval. So cheesy means something that is overly sentimental or lacking in good taste. Sugarcoat makes something sound better than it actually is. Carrot top, a person with red hair. Bread and butter, a person with primary source of income or livelihood. So just whosoever was asking a question, I hope that is clear now. Just revise this. A bread and butter means person's primary source of income or livelihood. Number 8, not my cup of tea is something that someone does not like or enjoy. Number 9, melt in one's mouth. Food that is very delicious and satisfying. So like hotcakes means something that is selling very quickly and in high demand. Cool as a cucumber, meaning someone who is very calm and composed under pressure. Number 12, apple of one's eye, someone or something that is cherished or greatly valued. In a nutshell, a summary or concise explanation of something. And to cry over spilled milk means being upset or regretful about something that has already happened and cannot be changed. All right. So before I move on, any doubts, any questions about this particular slide, anything that you would want to ask again, want me to go back to? I'll just take 10 seconds. If you have anything, you can type it in the chat box or you can unmute yourself.
For me, not really a doubt.
Okay, great. All right, so assuming that everything is clear here, let's move forward. So just some questions that we have tried to answer using the idioms that we learned today. So let's have a look at them. Which types of anime do you enjoy? So anime is, this new kind of, anime is this new kind of, animation that is, you can see they're like cartoons, but they're actually much more defined. Yeah, Japanese. Right, for those who don't know, it is quite a famous animation that like a lot of students these days watch these animations. They're quite actually good with storylines. So we're just trying to answer this. I enjoy anime that has cheesy dialogue, sweet romantic sequences with a hint of humor and action-packed suspenseful adventure scenes. I also adore anime since it is often contains elements that are permanently alter my worldview. Next. What do you like best about your animal companion? Truco, my dog, is always by my side to provide me with emotional support. More so than my parents or friends, he understands me. He is the apple of my eye, and I am appreciative of the selfless love he shows me. Last, what are your most polished skills or hobbies? I enjoy several recreational endeavors and practice various skill-building activities. I enjoy creating music, art, and even preparing food. However, over the years, I have realized that among all, only sports is something that is not my cup of tea. So that is the only thing that you're not passionate about or you're not good at. Right? Any questions up to now? Anything you want to ask in this slide, maybe? Any words that we did not understand?
Yeah, ma'am. Can you explain that apple of my eye means?
Apple of my means someone who's very dear to you, right? Someone very special to you. In Hindi, if anybody wants the Hindi translation is like Aankhon ka tara, you'll say a lot this, right? So
Okay.
after yes, exactly like that. All right. So could you please let me know which slide are you asking for?
The sentences were the second slide, which contained that melting in the mouth.
All right, I'll just move. Sure, I'll move to that. Right, this is one.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah. Now we can go back to the main slide.
You're done. This is all you wanted, right?
Yeah.
Perfect, great. Let's move forward then.
Ma'am, what cheesy?
Yes.
So cheesy means that it's something which is lacking in taste. So I cannot enjoy something that's lacking in taste. So how does it match with what I wanted to ask?
Cheesy. When I say lacking in taste, it means that it is not of good quality. It doesn't mean actual taste. It doesn't mean that it lacks spices or salt. It means that it does not have the quality of a good thing. For example, let's
Yes,
say
ma'am. If it's that's what I meant. If it's not having the good quality, then I cannot enjoy it. Like according to my view, that's what I mean.
right, exactly, you're correct. Right. So okay. Anything else that anyone else wants to add, ask? I am open to those. Otherwise, we'll be ending this soon. So please go ahead, shoot your doubts. Anything you want to ask, I'll be open to them. Okay. If not, then let's go ahead. So that would be the end of the webinar. Thank you so much for joining. You were all a great audience and really enjoyed having an interaction with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much and have a good day.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thank-
Bye-bye.
Yeah, ma'am. Have a good day.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, ma'am. Have a good day.
8 o'clock session. It's the time to 7 to 7:30 only.